Hi, folks. I've gotten requests from folks in my Twitch chat looking or wanting me to, stop playing for a moment so they can look at my Atlas tree and that sort of thing. So I figured I'd make a video going over it, what my current setup is like, what it's likely to look like if I make any adjustments to various different league mechanics as a focus, and the more the philosophy behind why I built my tree the way I did, than the specific details of what the tree currently looks like, as that is very much subject to change. One of my favorite things about this mechanic is how malleable it is in the first place. But this is my current endgame tree. It looks quite a bit different from the tree that you may have seen me bandying about before League Start. But that is because at League Start, I really wanted things like Essences, and I really wanted things like Expedition for ROG currency, and I really wanted things like Jun missions for some specific unveils. And at this point, none of those are all too relevant to me anymore, as Essences are dirt cheap this league, and I am playing in Trade League. Expeditions were fun, but they get a little tiresome eventually, and ROG crafted stuff also drops off in value pretty hard. You obviously still can get fairly lucky with ROG and make something nice, and that's even better nowadays with more powerful mods in the base mod pool and things like shields, but that's not really the point of this video. That's the reasoning why I had those nodes in the tree initially. I initially had full Expedition investment, some moderate Jun investment, picking up more chance for Jun missions, and full Essence investment, and I've since swapped over to this tree, which I think I could optimize a little bit further, so don't be surprised if it changes over the next couple of days, but I like the bones of it, so I was confident enough to make this video. So I have a video that I put out a couple days ago about how to efficiently farm the influence monsters. And if you haven't seen that, I would really suggest watching it, as it informs a lot of the decisions that I made for this tree. But that said, the foundation of why I built the tree the way I did now is because the influence monsters that were added this league, Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds monsters, are really, really, really goddamn busted. And you can get tons of things like currency, duplication of currency, which will apply to all of the currency that drops in the map. All of it has a chance to duplicate when you get the right altars, which is kind of insane when paired with the league mechanic, because you can cause the league mechanic to spit out tons of currency, and all of that will have a chance to duplicate if you do the mechanics in the right order. And then also tons of scarabs, also tons of influence currency, and then, little things like some quality gems or influence bases, which are usually not as good but have a chance to be worth something. So you can see I've got both of these smaller influence wheels, and that's because these influence monsters in areas have increased pack size, scales both influence types regardless of which one you're running. So they're both worth having. So we do kind of a journey across the top to reach both of those. And as a result of that, I could go through the middle in order to pick that up, but I go over the top for a couple reasons. One, it gives me a lot of flexibility in whether I go for the Liberated Knowledge wheel or if I want to go for the Regurgitated Relics wheel, depending on which boss I'm farming. Now, you could only just get the shrine or the altar-related nodes in here if you wanted to. If you weren't killing the boss at all and you were just farming the influence mobs, you either just go for Shadow of Hunger or Light of Dawn, depending on which influence you want to farm. But if you want to actually kill the boss as well, I recommend getting the full wheel, as it'll make the boss fights occur much more frequently and make them much more rewarding. On top of that, I go for all of the shrine nodes. Shrines are kind of insane this league, in a way that you wouldn't really have seen coming going into the league, because what they'll do is they'll augment the influence monsters. So influence monsters will spawn in packs alongside existing monsters in the map, and shrine monsters count as existing monsters, so to speak. So the more shrines you have in the map, the more influence monsters you get out of your map, is the very short version of that. So I've gone for this wheel, not so much for the Covetous Shrines, though they're nice when they pop up, but just because this 10% chance to contain an additional shrine is an additional on top of any others that can spawn in the map. These are going to make the shrines individually more powerful. An additional pack of magic monsters is nice, extra pack per each shrine, and we're shoving in as many shrines as we can. And then this is not really necessary, but it's only 2 points and it makes maps way more fun, so I think Syncretism is definitely worth it. And then obviously Supplication, just for a guaranteed additional shrine. You want as many shrines in your maps as possible, you go Supplication. Something that is a lot less focused on that whole influence monster farming strategy is the strongbox farming strategy, which I tested for a while and sort of had my doubts about it, but after having run Ambush on tons of maps and eventually buying strongbox scarabs, because all scarabs are cheap as dirt this league, and running those in a whole ton of maps, I'm actually really sold on Vault of Mysteries and Backup Cache. Not so much on Concealed Logistics, Maps are not hard to sustain this league. This is not worth the 3 points, in my opinion. We actually don't want strong boxes to be Carto boxes, because if it's a Cartographer's box, it's not a Diviner's box, and it's not an Arcanist box. So better if we don't pick these nodes up and instead just maximize our chances for divination cards or currency, and then obviously double them. One hidden benefit of backup cash, this is going to duplicate any currency in any strongbox, which works really, really well with operative strongboxes when those show up, because they really frequently drop sextants and unmaking orbs and chisels and various other mapping currencies. That's about it, actually. But yeah, they drop mapping currencies, and those will get doubled as well, which is quite nice. Tamper-proof is not really necessary, but I personally don't like to roll strong boxes. I don't like to stop and bother to alch them, and you definitely want to be doing at least your operative boxes and your Arcanist and probably even your div boxes rare. So this just means that they're always rare without me having to stop. Yeah, they might not be optimally rolled, but they're always going to be rare, so they're always going to have, a few extra additional cards or additional scarabs or something here or there, and on average, it is better than if I never stopped to roll them and just opened them all normal as they spawn. So I like tamper-proof. You also get a good number of 6 sockets and 6 links for Divines and Jewelers out of this. I think it's worth the 3 points, but the core is Secret Operations, Backup Cache, and Vault of Mysteries with guaranteed extra strongbox from Twice Tempted. The other sort of optional portion of this tree is the Heist Investment. The Heist Investment being smuggling routes for the bounty target packs and secret stash. I did not actually end up stretching over to casing the joint. The chance for blueprints to drop fully revealed has literally never occurred for me. I had this node assigned for a ton of maps, opened a ton of boxes with it, didn't get it to proc once. Increased chance to drop blueprints is nice, that's the only reason you would take this. But the reason I'm going for the heist nodes is actually not necessarily to go and run heist, it is to generate lots of heist coins, because the chance to duplicate currency applies to heist coins. And the chance to duplicate heist coins that you can get from a trinket also, obviously, applies to heist coins. I don't even have that yet. I need to go get a good trinket. And as a result, you can stack up rogue markers really, really, really quick. And, some people are going to be scoffing at me about this one, but the value adds up. That's 150k rogue markers, and I've only been running these nodes for a couple of days, because you get almost 5,000 coins, like 4 or 5, maybe sometimes 6 or 7,000 coins out of the bounty target pack, which is quite a lot, and those are showing up in 10% of your maps. You get to have larger stacks whenever they drop from monsters. Sometimes they'll duplicate for monsters. You get big stacks out of the boxes, so it honestly piles up pretty quickly. And we can go and see, exactly what that's worth if we look for rogue coins, and we look for someone with a minimum stock of, let's say, 25,000, and it's like 500 coins to a chaos. Let's scroll down a little bit, get a more realistic estimate. It's like 4,000 coins to 10 chaos. So 4,000 coins to 10 chaos, 150, over 4,000. It's 375 chaos worth of coins that I've just kind of passively collected. It doesn't really take all that much effort to do so, and it's very easy to sell them off as well. So I think those wheels are worth it if you're in the neighborhood. But obviously they're not really core to the strategy I'm doing, and they could be easily cut for something else if you wanted to. The last investments that I have are chances to drop Elder and Shaper Guardian maps, because those sell really, really well, even if you're not farming them. If I was going to be self-farming them, I would definitely have Guardian's Aid, but if I'm just going to be selling them off, I don't think it's worth the extra 2 points. Oh, I forgot to go on D&D. Let's take this sale really quick. Sorry about the interruption. And ritual nodes. This is actually something I forgot to mention when I was talking about the influence farming. Rituals also spawn in with monsters around each ritual, and those monsters will have influence monsters associated with them. So rituals are really, really good for influence farming, and also just really good themselves. They're extremely, extremely rewarding as a mechanic. So one ritual wheel there, and the other one over here. I don't quite have the points to stretch to profitable prayers, and I don't really think it's worth it unless you're going full ham on rituals with like blood vessels, which I'm not. But you could easily drop the heist and pick up profitable prayers if you wanted to. I just prefer kind of the passive income from heist coins and blueprints. Anyways, that is what my tree is currently sat at. There are some changes that I may end up making. I used to have Abyssal Investment, but I decided to cut that because Abysses were taking a little bit too long out of my maps, though they were really fun with how many monsters they had popping up. And one thing I experimented with was Enriched Entities, and I was really disappointed by this. I made City Square my favorited map. I love that map. It's got a triple boss. I was hoping that, occasionally we'd get twin city squares, 6 bosses, they each drop a currency item, maybe I get lucky and like grab a couple chaos or a divine or maybe even an exalt. But no, turns out you only get one currency item for killing all 6 bosses. Only the last boss to die actually drops a basic currency item, which makes this node trash. I mean, it was kind of going to be trash even without that. 6 currency items is not that good, really. But like, if that's not, especially if you don't get 6 from 6 bosses and you only get 1 from 6 bosses, this is utterly garbage. So you probably already figured that out for yourself, but just to confirm, that is pretty bad. Don't go for it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be tomorrow. I'm trying to do this whole daily video thing. I'll see you guys then.